Hello, welcome to the program. This is our special coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic ravaging the world. And I have with me here my broadcast colleague,
Patrick Asiwe. You are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Now, like we said, coronavirus is real, and a lot of countries all over the world has been affected. A lot of people have died. Now, there are a lot of information going out there, which most of them are fake. They have informations that are not verified, myths, and so on. And it's causing a lot of harm than good. And we have here today on the program, we have some verified facts from Nigerian Center for Disease Control and World Health Organization. So we are going to make available this information to you to help you. But before that, let's take this time out.
Hand washing should take you about 1 minute. Use a timer or count from 1 to 10 in each of the following steps. Wet hands with water and apply enough soap to cover all surfaces of the hands. Let the water run smoothly to avoid touching the tap later on. Rub hands palm to palm to obtain a good quantity of foam. Then rub right palm over the back of left hand with interlaced fingers, and vice versa. Rub again palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked, repeating this action for each hand. Rub rotationally left thumb clasped in right palm, and vice versa. To clean the tips of the fingers, rub rotationally backwards and forwards with clasped fingers of right hand in left palm, and vice versa. Rinse hands thoroughly with running water. Dry hands thoroughly with a single-use towel. If the tap is not elbow-operated, use this towel to turn off the tap without touching it directly. Your hands are now clean and safe.
Welcome back. Now, Patrick, something happened yesterday. I observed some group of women, arguing. And one stood out authoritatively, telling others that there is nothing like coronavirus in Nigeria. That is all a trick or a ploy by the government to, make some quick money from the unsuspecting public. What do you have to say about that?
Well, it's very unfortunate to have such misinformation. I can authoritatively tell you that COVID-19 is in Nigeria. It is not just in Nigeria. As at March 11, the WHO declared it a global pandemic. What that means is that it affects every continent of the world. As it stands, there are more than 120 countries of the world which have been affected by COVID-19. And Nigeria not being an exception. Nigeria being the central hub of Africa, information from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control we received today shows that we have 65 confirmed cases of coronavirus infection. And out of that 65, 3 has been successfully treated and discharged. And so far, 1 death has been recorded. So it's no hoax. You, the public, you have to take it as serious as it is. It is a public health emergency of international concern.
Thank you very much. Now, without further ado, I would like us to go into some of these myths. The first one is chloroquine is used for the treatment of COVID-19.
Well, chloroquine has not been approved by the WHO for treatment of COVID-19. We receive information that there is a panic buy of chloroquine in the market, people gathering chloroquine and drinking them up. Chloroquine is actually poisonous, and it doesn't have a place in the treatment of COVID-19. And we would like to discourage or tell the listening public, don't involve yourself in such. It's just like the case of Ebola. When we had Ebola outbreak, we had people being misinformed about drinking salt, bathing with salt, That is the same misinformation that is going around now. Please, for your own safety, chloroquine is poisonous. Chloroquine can cause harm. It can even lead to death.
That is taken out of prescription, you mean?
Yes, exactly. When chloroquine is taken out of, maybe just you take it on your own, out of prescription, it can lead to death in cases of overdose. It can lead to harm to organs in the body and eventually death. So you have to guard yourself against such misinformation of the use of chloroquine in the treatment of COVID-19.
Okay, there is this issue of also people say that you gargle with salt, water, and vinegar. And here I have a statement from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, and they said doing this can be harmful. To protect yourself and your loved ones, practice proper personal and respiratory hygiene. Respiratory hygiene, that is, for instance, you see a lot of people in the public, you know, when they want to sneeze, they will do acting. So that is wrong. By WHO standard, you have to fold. You have to fold your elbow and then sneeze into your elbow. Or cough into your elbow. Something like that. And the WHO is also saying that the droplets from an infected person can infect another person. So they are saying that social distance of about at least minimum of 6 feet will be safe. Then the next one here is this one is very funny. That reminds me, somebody was saying that he will bathe with alcohol to prevent COVID-19 infection. What do you have to say about that?
Well, this is also another strong misinformation. Like it's been encouraged that personal hygiene through hand washing and use of hand sanitizers. Hand sanitizers are actually alcohol-based. They can kill the COVID-19 viruses on the surface of the hand or on a surface of table or objects. But drinking alcohol has no place in the treatment or management of COVID-19.
Or using it to bathe.
Using it to bathe, it has no place in that. So it's a strong misinformation, and the listening audience, the public, has to be wary of that. Because alcohol is actually a toxicant, and when you bathe or drink an excess alcohol, you are harming your organs in the body. You are harming the liver. Consumption of excess alcohol or bathing with it can lead to dehydration. So it's something we have to avoid by all means.
Some have even added that you have to drink bleach or cleaning agents.
Well, bleach is a very harmful substance. The common bleach we use is made up of mostly sodium hypochlorite, which can kill when consumed. So it is against the ethics of the treatment. It has no place in treatment. So when you are practicing such things, what you are actually putting yourself is at risk. You may die out of panic and fear instead of dying out of the COVID-19. So you have to avoid some of these practices.
Yeah, then there is another one that says people should, go ahead and eat garlic.
Well, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Garlic as a substance or as a plant we know has good medicinal properties. In fact, it has a very good antimicrobial properties that has been proven in researches. But there is no proven research on the use of garlic as a prevention against COVID-19 disease. So consuming garlic or maybe making gargle of it, some people soak it in water and drink the water. It won't really help. So it has no place in that. It could improve antimicrobial effect by reducing bacterial load in the body, but it has no place in treatment of COVID-19.
Okay, so then there is this issue. I was listening to the broadcast of the Minister for Information yesterday, that is Alhaji Lai Mohammed, and they made he made something very clear, something that is not good. He said that some people who traveled out of the country and came back gave false information about themselves, like giving fake phone number, phony home addresses and so on. And I don't think it is a good thing because tracking will be very difficult for the government, should need be. Are you understanding me? So if you are out there and you have just come in, please, please, for the sake of God, submit yourself to the authorities. Submit yourself to the authorities for the goodness of every Nigerian. Then the next thing is this. I've heard about people buying facial masks, people wearing facial masks and so on. I want to bring in Dr. Maria from the World Health Organization to answer this. Is it necessary for an uninfected person to wear mask? Dr. Maria, please.
So that's a good question. So there's a lot of people, WHO recommends that you wear a mask if you're sick. So if you have respiratory symptoms, what you do is you wear a mask, and there's important ways in which you put the mask on and off, and we have some good videos that show a proper way to put it on and off, but you're using a mask to protect other people. So if you have symptoms, and you wear a mask, then you protect yourself from getting those droplets onto other people.
Okay, it is very, very clear. The person that actually needs that mask is an infected person so that he will not infect others. What do you have to say about that?
Well, that's true. It's meant for someone that has already been infected with COVID-19 because the mask is meant to prevent aerosols or droplets from coming out from the person, which can be spread into the air and easily come in contact with others. And not for someone else who has never come in contact with the virus. So wearing facial masks, like we are seeing around, people panic buying facial masks, it's not really the thing to do. So if you don't have COVID-19, if you are not one of the confirmed cases, you don't really have any need to be wearing a facial mask around.
Yeah, it has become almost, and the prices of this facial mask have just jumped up.
Yeah,
people are having a field day,
It's really unfortunate that in our climes here, people take advantage of such situation. Before now, facial mask was sold at 50 naira, which people were using to prevent us. But if you go to the market now, a facial mask costs as high as 500 naira.
Oh, very unfortunate. So you see, the most important thing is hand washing. And we have seen a demonstration from that video, the intro video, from WHO. So you must always wash your hand as often as possible. You don't unnecessarily contaminate your face. Like I saw a woman, as we were coming to this place, I saw a woman, she was putting on facial mask. Then she was also wearing surgical gloves on this particular hand. Then this hand is free. Then when she wanted to receive a call, somebody was calling her, she wanted to receive, and she now used the empty hand, the open hand, and use it and contaminate the facial mask just like this. So, and I was laughing. These are some of the things people really need to know about. The government is doing their best, and I thank God for public-spirited individuals. There has been a lot of donations coming in to help the government to fight this COVID-19, because actually it's a plague, it's a world plague. But I believe that in all things, God will, help us. Right here in Imo State, the governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, has also put some measures in place. So we are pleading to the public, please comply with government directives. The directive the government are giving is just for the good of everybody. So please, if the government says there should be lockdown, please let there be lockdown. If the government says there should be social distance, let there be social distance. Like World Health Organization has categorically said it, that there should be a social distance of a minimum of 6 feet for you, to be safe. Then there is another myth that says that the disease is airborne, that COVID-19 is airborne. The World Health Organization says it's not airborne, but it is transmitted through contact.
Yes, COVID-19 is not an airborne disease. Maybe the myth is coming from the name, where when you say it's a respiratory disease, people will now believe that when you breathe in air, you take it in. It's not an airborne disease. It's a respiratory disease because it affects the lungs. It affects breathing inside. But how it comes in contact is mostly coming in contact with either an infected person or infected surfaces. That's why social distancing is very important, and people are encouraged to stay away from crowds. Stay in your houses, like places where we are encouraged to lock down. Go to your houses, stay, isolate yourself, because it is only when you are isolated that you can stay away from either the possibility of coming in contact with an infected person or infected objects. So it's not an airborne disease. It's a respiratory disease from the name severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2. It's a respiratory disease, but it's not an airborne disease.
Then again, if you've just come into the country within the last 1 week, it is necessary that you submit yourself to the authorities for a proper checkup, for a proper test. If you do that, you will be helping the society, you will be helping the government, you will be helping yourself. What do you say?
Well, yes, we have to help ourselves. For us to really fight COVID-19 together, every hand must be on deck. If you are coming in, for the safety of us down here, for the safety of your brothers, your sister, all of us, we have to come together, cooperate with the government. If you are supposed to self-isolate, isolate or subject yourself to the authorities to be tested and isolated. But giving wrong addresses, wrong phone number, making it impossible for government to trace these people, it's really an abnormality, and it puts all of us at risk. So you don't know who will contact you tomorrow. If you eventually have it and you hide yourself and spread it, you are putting your family at risk, you are putting your community at risk, and all your friends and those that come in contact with you, and the entire society. So we have to be very careful at this period. We come together as a people and we fight it. When we come together, we stand the chance of defeating it.
Then lastly, maintaining respiratory etiquette, like the one I mentioned before. This time around, if you want to cough, if you do not fold your elbow, you can use a tissue paper.
Okay.
Then cough into it or sneeze into it, then properly dispose it. Then wash your hand. That is the standard.
Yes, there is what the WHO, like you simply exemplify what we call the elbow coughing. Because why elbow coughing is encouraged is that you use your hand to touch objects and you use your hand to touch people. And these viruses can survive on the hand, it can survive on the surfaces.
Yes.
So you prevent coughing or sneezing into your hand. Rather, you sneeze into your elbow because you don't touch surfaces with your elbow. So when you sneeze, using the elbow cough, your hand goes like this. You cough into your elbow if the need be. You sneeze into your elbow. So it prevents the virus getting into your hands, which you use in touching surfaces. So you have to stick to the standard practices that are in place. Or if you can't use your elbow, maybe you feel you are wearing a long dress, you might soil your dress. You simply have to use a handkerchief or a disposable tissue paper so that once you use it, you can dispose it properly, and that goes, rather than coughing into your hand and touching surfaces and transmitting the virus.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Wow, it has been wonderful today. Very informative, very educative. Well, we'll see you next week. From Patrick.
You are welcome. Nice to be with you.
God bless you.